Good morning, everyone. In this video, I will review the annotated bibliography assignment that we have been working on for quite some time now. So first, if you're wondering about point scales for the AP exam, the IRR and the IWA will both be worth the exact number of points that are shown on each of those rubrics. So if you go back and review your rubrics, the IRR is worth 30 points, and the IWA will be worth 48 points. So your entire score will correspond to those rows on the rubric. I will review the IWA rubric row by row with you before you write the essay in a few weeks. And I'll also go over the IRR rubric with you again after we finish this paper in case you want to make any last minute changes to your IRR. Next, the annotated bibliography will tentatively be due not next week, but the following, which is the week of April 13th. Even if I cannot grade your work at this time, which is still to be determined, we will finish the annotated bibliography that week and move forward with the outline and paper so that we can have those things completed by College Board's deadline of May 26th. If you would like to schedule a Zoom session with me to review your annotated bibliography one-on-one this week or next, please send me a Schoology message or an email and we'll set up a time to do that. This is certainly not required, but it is a good time for you to ask questions that I can answer one-on-one. On your iPad, if you all go to the self-service portal, the Zoom app is in there for you now. It's a blue icon with a video camera and you can download it to your iPad. We'll use it for this Friday's Coffee House discussion if you choose to join that. Next, I'm going to review the guidelines for the annotated bibliography with you. Please note I am going to be making a change to the grading, and instead of the 2 separate assignments that I originally talked about, you are going to submit all 10 of your sources at the same time. As long as you complete the requirements, you will earn the points. This project will tentatively be a quarter 4 grade, and I'll give you details as soon as we have more information about grading. To make up for this in quarter 3, the way I was going to split the assignments before, I am going to enter a 50 out of 50 score for each of you for your TMP presentation. Since it is no longer being graded by College Board, I want to make sure that I honor all of your hard work on that project. So I'm going to enter a grade for all of you that will boost your quarter 3 grade.
Here are the guidelines for the annotated bibliography. First, the general requirements are that you have 10 sources in total. This is exactly the same as it was from the beginning. I just originally split it 5 and 5, and you're going to do all 10 of your sources together in one document now. At least 8 of those sources must be scholarly sources from academic journals, and then the other 2 sources should be .gov, .org, .edu, or other credible sources. You should not include any news sources or blogs or other sources that are not credible. If you want to use any sources of that nature, just make sure that those are above and beyond your 10 sources that you are submitting to me. So your first 10 for me are all credible sources, and whatever you use after that is at your discretion. For the content, the first thing that you're going to include is your citation in MLA or APA format. Below that, a brief summary and analyze the credibility, and that will be 1 paragraph. Then the next paragraph will address how will this source address your research question. And then below that, you will include a bulleted list of quotes with page numbers and any paraphrases that you plan to use. So if you're going to use a lot of information from the source, you might have a long list of quotes and paraphrases. If it's a source that you don't plan to use very much information from, then your list will be a lot shorter, and it's okay to have some lists that are longer than others. Here's an example. So I'll just put on the pointer here, and you can see it starts with a citation first, and then below that, you have the next paragraph of the summary and the source credibility. And below that, you have another paragraph where you address how it will be useful in research. And then below that, you have quotes. So I took this from a sample from last year, but I really pared it down, and this is only a small portion of the actual annotation, so yours will likely be a lot longer than that, but it gives you an idea of how to set it up format-wise. For the format, you're going to start, like I said, with MLA or APA format. Make sure you include a hanging indent. So you can see on the last slide, the first line is not indented, and then the hanging indent is the second line and every line below it for the source. Again, all additional lines will include a hanging indent. So when I go back to this page, you can see everything below the first line is in line with the hanging indent, and that is the correct way to format this. You don't need an extra line space in between each paragraph. Just hit enter once and keep everything in line with that hanging indent, including your quotes and paraphrases. The whole thing should be double spaced, as with everything that you write for class, and your sources should be listed in alphabetical order. So typically it's alphabetical order by the author's last name. If there is no author listed with your citation, then the very first piece of information that you have is what gets alphabetized. So the next thing here would be the title, and usually if there's no author, the title would be the first piece of information. So make sure that all 10 of your sources are alphabetized. Finally, a few notes. You're not in school right now, obviously, so you cannot access the school databases through the library website, but you do have access to Ebscohost through your College Board account. I've shared that with you several times, so make sure that you're using that. If you use the digital portfolio from College Board, you can easily click on Ebscohost. You can also use Google Scholar, but EBSCO will guarantee that you're getting full text of the sources that you search for. And finally, just a reminder, as I've said in the past, that the goal of the annotated bibliography is that it replaces the need for you to review the article again. So the point of creating your annotated bibliography is that moving forward in the coming weeks with your outline and then finally writing your paper, you should not have to look back at the sources after you write your annotated bibliography. Spend the time now going through each source, picking everything that you want from it, and using that information in your annotated bibliography, so that from now on, the only thing you have to reference is that annotated bibliography.
As always, let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for watching.